Excellent. So I'm joined today by Frans de Groot. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman about a week or two ago on a trip to the Netherlands. And, you know, what we were told, we were going to meet this amazing author who transformed businesses. And there must be, you know, for every time I've kind of heard the story of somebody that's transformed businesses and they're a best-selling author and blah, 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 you just don't know what to expect. You know, some guys, you know, particularly on the social media nowadays, there seems to be, you know, a plethora of people who are promising, you know, golden eggs, and we'll come on to that later, and amazing results if you follow their plan. And then you look behind the, you know, the curtain, as it were, and often, you know, there's disappointment there. What I can say about Frans is he is genuinely the real deal. He's a published author. He's transformed some amazing businesses, big and small. And I think what we're going to do today is delve a little bit into who is Frans. And we've now discovered that the Groot means the great. So let's see if he lives up to his real name, and if he really does deliver great results for businesses. So Frans, you know, thank you for joining us today. I think, like I said, I was blown away when I heard you speak the other week. And I was very keen to get you on the podcast so you could share your story, your experience, and hopefully anybody who's listening, who's got a business, large or small, is looking for some help to shape their journey and to achieve the results that they want for their brand and their business, that hopefully they can get a few nuggets today and hopefully follow up and maybe even buy your best-selling book. So Frans, tell me, as a child, what were you like? Were you this inquisitive person? Did you have the entrepreneurial spark from a young age? Was it something that, you know, was fostered by your parents, grandparents, people around you, or was it something you kind of stumbled upon in a later point in your life?
Honestly, I was very shy. I wanted to draw cartoons, and I did. So I was locked up in my room, and I was drawing and shy. But on my study, I did commercial economics in Amsterdam. We had to present in the last year a big project to corporate companies. And there was an award involved. And the team member said, Frans, you have to present it. And I thought, no. I don't want to present this, but I had to. And then I was standing on the stage and I thought, well, I don't mind. I just do my story. I know what I have to present. So I made it a kind of a show. And I presented it. And at the end, we won the award. So we were the winners. And I thought, presenting, if you're not shy anymore, or if you don't dare things, it is not difficult at all. Just do it. And it doesn't matter how people think about you, I thought. Then what happened there was that I was still the cartoonist, right? And I did that study, and I wanted to work at an advertising agency.
Yeah.
Because it is creativity what it's all about. No, better said, I really believed in one thing. Everything is around communications. If you communicate right, you will get right things back. If you communicate wrong, you will get wrong things back, like all the politicians, right? And if you don't communicate, here it is, nothing happens. So I thought, I need to learn, if I learn what the communication techniques are in this world, advertising, then I always know what kind of messages I need to spread to reach targets. My first job was at a big American advertising agency. It was called Young and Rubicon.
Yeah, Rubicon,
yeah. And I was account manager, and it was a terrible job. It really was a terrible job. I learned a lot about communications because I'm not a person who will tell you what to do in your life. I can't. But I always wanted to know, if I would give you an advice, I need proof that the advice is right. So I wanted to learn all about the communication techniques at this agency. And during the years, I was working far too hard. It was really terrible. I was tired, and I thought, I was young, yeah, at that time. I thought, I want to be rich. I want to be rich. And how? Well, you need an invention, right? You need an invention, something that doesn't exist, to become rich. And I had a party one of these days, my birthday. I drank too much, of course I did. And what happened was the following: I discovered something. People came with flowers. This is Holland, right? Here.
Yeah.
People come with flowers. And what we do with flowers, flowers need to be cut, right? And you do that with a scissor or with a knife. And you don't do that on an evening itself. And then I thought, does a product exist in which you cut flowers in the right angle? It didn't exist. The day after my birthday, I was looking all around on the web. Does this exist? No, it didn't exist. And I started drawing it, and I made a clay model with eyes on it and a mouth. And you put the flower in, you did clack, and it was cut. And long story short, 2 years later, over 2 million pieces were sold.
No way. You never shared that the other week.
No, I don't know.
Fascinating
3 years
story.
later, it was sold to the biggest household retail organization here in the Netherlands.
No way.
Blocker. And it was sold. And I still was working for that agency. So I did it next to my job. And I thought, so you can do everything you want next to the job. Be secure, be assured that you have an income, basic income. Then you can easily, without risk, do some new initiatives. And I did. And for that reason, I thought, well, guys, I know now how to make a new idea big. I know exactly how that works. I know all about the different communication aspects. So why don't starting my own agency?
Okay, makes sense.
Yes, but this agency, the same as this product, needs to offer something that somebody else couldn't offer. And that was the integrated knowledge of the main communication techniques. Everybody specialized, still they are. If you go to a social media person, the person says, it's very important that you use social media. But there is more that makes success. Success is the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
It's not only the specialism of one person, it's the whole. And I understood the whole of communications. So I started my own agency, and I won BMW.
Not bad for starting. Starting.
And they bought your brands. They bought Rover, Mini, Land Rover, Range Rover, and they asked me to use my, let's say, vision, integrated approach in combining several communication disciplines. Yeah, so don't do one thing, not only sales, there's more in the world, that you have to do to make a person buy. And they invited me to present how I would solve the problem that Rover Group doesn't sell enough cars. And I wrote it combined with people need to want you before they buy you, before they can stay with you. Wanting is communication discipline A. Buying is communication discipline B. Staying is communication discipline C. And I wrote those three, call them barriers. People don't want you, and they can want you, they don't buy you, they don't buy you, and they don't stay. If you only use these three techniques, and I wrote a plan, then probably more people will want you, will buy you, stay with you. So I won. I got BMW as a customer. I got a BMW as a car. Yeah. Well, the lucky bastard did it.
And you still drive a BMW? That's the question.
Yes, I'm still driving BMW. Yeah.
The same one, or you've upgraded?
No, I'm a loser. I'm a loser. Losers drive BMW, is it? But the funny thing was that they said, Frans, we don't think that your plan or approach really will work, but you're the only one who came with a different story. So we will completely execute what you have written in your plan. And we
Mm.
executed during a year. The combination of wanting, buying, and staying
Mm.
techniques. And what happened was that their revenue grew by 300%. It was the
Not bad.
fastest, yes, it was the fastest growing car brand in the world. And of course you're a hero and you win a lot of awards, but you also have a problem because
You've got to
people
follow it up.
yes, they said, France, yeah, what did you do to make this success? And I didn't know. I won the award, by the way, here in the Netherlands. It's called EFFI. It's the award for the most effective communications, in which it's proven that the communication is the reason for the growth.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you can develop more products or increase distribution. Yeah, you probably sell more. But the communication was the reason for the success. And I had a problem. I didn't know where the success came from. So I started studying on my own plan. In the meantime, the BMW asked me, Frans, next year we do it again, is it? And I said, yeah, of course. And I thought, well, that's the last year that I have customer BMW, of course. I did the following. I made a copy of the plan with new data based on the next year. A little, yeah, let's say corrections.
Mm.
And we executed it, and that year they grew 156% again. So in 2 years' time, 456% growth in revenue with cars. That is
Crazy.
absolutely impossible. After 1.5 years, I discovered what I did. And I made it a basic model. It's called the Bitzer model. I will explain it in a few minutes.
Mm.
Yes, I don't know whether we have time enough.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think
And
we need to share this knowledge with as many people as possible.
yeah, because it's fun and it's coming from practice. Of course, there was a vision. You need to integrate communications, but later I understood that it was not only about communication. A person also communicates. A brand logo is also communications. Your buildings, the way you approach your market, everything is communication.
Mm.
So, and that's what probably happened. It influences all aspects of the organization. And I got quite a few new customers. The World Wildlife Fund became customers and many more. And I used this basic model on their objectives. And during 5 years, there were 18 organizations, 18, who grew over 300%. 18.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I was surprised myself, and I still can't believe it, honestly, but it happened. It really happened. And, and that was great fun. And then the European Commission has a European Master Program in which they do scientific studies on very special ideas or methodologies or whatever. And they approached me via a university here in the Netherlands, if it was okay that they, in this program, do some scientific research on why this approach was so successful. And of course, I said yes. So they measured it. We measured all the 18 case studies.
Mhm.
We looked at what did we do during these periods. What did we do? What did we do? And at the end, it was very simple. It was absolutely very simple. A marketing, the marketing director of Nike in Portland wrote to me, this will bring us back to basics. It is
Yeah.
so basics that we made things too complicated. And you know why? Because we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So we use, of course, some experience from the past in today, but it doesn't mean that you're always successful. And if we are successful, we don't know why. If we're not successful, we also don't know why. And we found what the reason was. There are seven, I call them principles. 7 principles are, if you follow the 7 principles, then continuity and growth is assured. If you follow one of the 7 principles not, you run the risk to go bankrupt. And that was what happened. These studies were finished in 2007.
Yeah.
And since that moment, I'm working with helping people applying the 7 elements of what I call the bits-ing method, BITS, bits and pieces of an organization, everything. And ing is continuously. Ing, it goes on. So it's bits-ing. And another funny part is where the name came from. Almost every company has a department in-house that ends with ing. And yes, exactly. Marketing.
Yeah.
And now we have bitsing standing above marketing. And the Dutch Marketing Association is my customer. They use my methodology, they use my methodology to reach their revenue growth goals. Isn't that fun?
It's incredible. I mean, look, considering, like you said, you've gone from doing cartoons and being the shy person to now speaking to some of the top marketing and CEOs in the world, like Nike, BMW, and so on, and them then following the advice of somebody who sold and developed flower cutting tool. It's quite an incredible story. So, I mean, for people that are listening, if you could perhaps go through what the core principles are of bitsing, and maybe not everybody can have access to you for different reasons. So, if we could try and share with them as much as possible that they could try and implement themselves, whether they're a global brand or they're starting their brand tomorrow, that would be amazing.
Yeah, indeed. I work, of course, with corporates, but most of my customers are medium-sized. You know why? They are real entrepreneurs. They're often real entrepreneurs, and it are entrepreneurs who have the guts to use a new methodology. It's not new. It's 30 years old, but for the people, for a lot of people, it's new. And yes, and I work with single man companies. I give 1-day workshops, for instance, for them to learn and work with the models behind it. I will try to explain the 7 principles in the basics. And if people want more detailed information about it, we always can go online. Right? Is it okay that they can send me email?
Yeah, whatever? Absolutely. Yeah. What we'll do is when we post this out, we'll leave your details on the podcast for people to reach out to you.
Because I'm open to that, because of course you need to make your money, but I'm not searching for clients. It sounds a bit strange, but people are coming to me, and then it's great fun. And I'm a colleague for a while, for a few months, and then it's done. That's really fun. And so I had a lousy job at the advertising agency, and now a great job with my own methodology. The 7 principles, they are really basic, because the first is the objective. If you ask now, do you know that about 82% of organizations in the world don't have an objective? And if you don't have an objective, you don't arrive there. Where do I arrive? Maybe it's in circles. I don't know. And organizations that have an objective have the wrong objectives. There is only one objective that assures the continuity and growth of an organization, and that is revenue. And of course, you all these listeners know probably what the revenue of the organization is, but does the staff know? Do we have that amount in mind every day? No. It is the beginning of the year or the end of the upcoming month. It says we need to make this and this and that. Okay, and then it goes in the drawer, I don't know, wherever, and then we do our thing, and everybody forgets it. But if you start with a revenue goal, and I'm not talking about 5% plus or more revenue. No, I need a number. I did the stores in Terminal 1 of Amsterdam Airport, Schiphol Amsterdam Airport. In 2 months' time, they grew 520%. The shops in Terminal 1 behind the customs, 520%. You know why? We started with what is the amount of revenue that you need to pay all the bills and put some profit on it. What's your business revenue goal? And because we knew that goal, everything that was done was focused on that amount. In Terminal 2, 3, and 4 of the airport, they keep all these things the same. Just marketing activities, sales, promotions, sales, whatever, and nothing happened. Nothing happened because they were not focused on where they should end. I call it your money island. And I'm not talking about profit. Of course, some want profit, but at least you need to earn the amount of money to pay all the bills. So imagine in this example, it's £1,000.
Yeah.
1,000. Well, that's the revenue. That's a first start. Then you at least know that's where we should go to. That's where I need to be at the end of this year. £1,000. That's one. The second thing was that all the organizations that grew over 300%, they made the choices and focus that they made to reach that amount. That was based on facts and not on assumptions. A lot of decisions that we make are based on assumptions. It's gambling. It's only an assumption. I think that we should do this. Oh yeah? I don't know. If you look at Nike, Nike decided not to work with shops anymore, physical shops. Why? Probably somebody thought that is a good idea. But it made them.
Well, and is that the point that when they called you in after it all went wrong?
No, that was they called me in before.
Before that, okay.
Yeah, before, but we realized it during. Yeah. So an interesting thing was focusing on facts. What do you mean with that, Frans? Well, that's quite simple again. If you have money, revenue as an objective, you should focus with your whole organization, everybody, on the sources where the money comes from. I call them money sources. For instance, a lot of organizations are talking about sustainability. It is maybe important, but is that the source where money comes from? No. I'm not saying don't focus on it. Maybe later. First look, where is the money come from? I will give you some examples. Money can come from continents, countries. Look in the UK, regions, cities, target groups, people. What do we have more? Maybe periods, months. The money comes from products and services. And I have a very nice example about Toys R Us, toy stores.
Yeah.
And I asked them, what is the continuity goal, the revenue goal? And then they mentioned me a number. And then I said, to whom do you targeting your marketing? And for everybody who listened to this podcast, if I ask you to whom are toy stores communicating, what is the target market? Everybody will say kids. And that sounds a bit logical. Until I ask the following. Look at the revenue that you made. Russ. What percentage of that amount was paid by kids? And it was 0. That means that kids, that came out of the scientific studies, that kids are not important, but they only get 0% attention. And if you think that kids could be in the future a nice market, it's only allowed to give them 5% attention.
Yeah.
We looked at where was the money come from. Literally, 94% came out of the pockets of. Everybody is wrong. I hear parents, I hear grandmother, granddad. The reality was, we measured it. 94% of the revenue came out of the pockets of daddies, which means that 94% of the whole organization should be focusing on daddies. 4% was mummies, which means that 4% of the organization should come from mummies.
Okay.
You can do the same. Look at your country. Maybe it's different regions. Look at the current share in revenue. That is the percentage your whole organization should focus on, spend their time on, spend your budget on to reach your goal.
Yeah.
Again, we had an objective of 1,000 pounds. 94% is a fact, comes from daddies, which means that 94% of the 100,000 pounds should be the objective in target market daddies.
Yeah.
4% came out of mummies. 4% of our 1,000 pounds objective should be the objective of mummies. And if you do that, you have a 100% guarantee that you increase and reach your revenue goals.
Where did, out of curiosity, where did grandparents kind of figure it in that number?
They were the third. They were 2% or something.
Oh, really? As low as that?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. But if you think that grandparents is a growing market and daddies will die in the future, then you decline the percentage of daddies. Daddies was 94%. You decline that with 5%, not more, because that's too much risk. So it's 94% minus 5 is 89% of the objectives should come from daddies.
Yeah.
4% mummies, 2% grandfathers and grandmothers. That's a growing market, you've said. You add 5%. So 2% plus 5 is 7% of your 1,000 pound should come from grandmas. And then you do the following. Look in your administration, what is the annual amount that daddy spent in our stores? What's the annual amount that mummies spent in our stores? What's the annual amount of what grandmamas and daddies spent? Divide their objective with that amount, spending amount, and you know exactly the numbers of customers that you need to reach your goal.
So if you're a new brand and you don't yet know this kind of customer detail, how do you go about identifying, like you might have an idea in your mind who your customer is, but that idea it's probably going to be wrong, let's be honest. So what's the strategy within your process, if there is one, for identifying who your customer will be at the point where you know you've got a great product, you know you've got a story to tell, etc. Maybe you've got your golden eggs, but what you don't yet know is exactly who to target for your initial customer base. What's the process for doing that, would you say?
3 ways to look at it. 3. First of all, there is competition. So you can a little bit look to their situation. Maybe it's available. AI probably has all the information about how is the spending amounts of the competitor with daddies, you know. But the second is just what you think, what you want. I want daddies or mummies or whatever. The third is you always execute your bidding plan during a period of 3 months, and then you start measuring. And execution, I will come up that in 2 minutes, if that is okay. But just learn it in practice. If you start, you don't need millions. You know? No. It's a small amount. So you always have a few numbers, an amount of people that you need to approach. It is not that complicated. But how do we approach these daddies or mummies or whatever your target markets are? For me, it's corporates, it's medium-sized companies, it's SMEs, it's small, it's entrepreneurs, and for me, 70% focus and also of my revenue comes from medium-sized organizations. So 70% of my objective comes from this target market divided by the average annual spend, means this is the number of medium-sized companies I need at the end of this year to reach my growth goals.
Yeah.
And to reach these numbers, you do the following. And then we come back to people need to want you before they buy you to stay with you. All communications, really, it's 99% is based on buying. Buy me, buy me, buy me. You buy the product. Yeah. Okay. But why don't I buy your product? Because I don't want you. What do you need? Yeah. Do you need to want a product? No, you don't want a product. You buy a product. You buy something from a brand. You want a brand, and then you buy the product. Here I have the iPhone.
Yeah.
That's a product. And I'm sure everybody else who's listening here and bought the iPhone didn't want the iPhone. And they say, yes, I want the iPhone because I bought it. No, exactly. You bought it. You bought the iPhone, but because you wanted Apple.
Yeah.
So your brand is essential in the buying behavior, for the buying behavior to reach your revenue goals. 82% of the iPhone, this one, is Samsung products. 82% of this thing exists of Samsung products. I bought a Samsung. I paid too much, but I'm happy with it because it's Apple. Exactly. So look at your brand name. My brand name is Frans, right? Or the brand name of the methodology is Bitsing. You need to want Bitsing before you go into the coaching process. Buy the coaching. That's it. That's what you buy. But you would not buy my coaching if you wouldn't know that I was the founder. And here it is. One thing is not about products or whatever. It's about your brand. And it's always about what the brand not making unique or distinctive, but what makes the brand uncopyable.
Yeah.
If you find what your brand makes uncopyable in the market compared to competition, an uncopyable brand, more people start to want you, and if people want you, they buy you anyway.
And this is the uncopyable bit is what you call or refer to as the golden egg.
The golden egg. The golden egg. Yeah, you have seen this one, but you have seen the two parrots. And for the people in the podcast, I have two parrots here in my hand, and one parrot has the price tag of €5, and the other parrot is exactly the same. They're probably twins. The other one has the price tag of €15. Which of the two would you choose? It's of course always the lower priced. You know why? Because they're the same. They look the same. They tell people the same. But imagine that the 15 euro or pounds or whatever parrot is the only one who lays golden eggs. And the €5 parrot doesn't. Which of the two do you want? And here it is. Exactly. I want the golden egg. My methodology was stolen by McKinsey in the USA. They found a report of Hewlett Packard. Hewlett Packard grew 168% in revenue. And I wrote a plan, and McKinsey got this plan probably from Hewlett Packard, of course. And suddenly they had Bitsing consultants, really. And I thought, I am a Dutch guy. Those are big Americans. Who is the inventor of the Bitsing methodology? The Americans, of course, and not this Dutch farmer, and I forgot to find my own golden egg. So I did a session with myself, and I found out it's a scoring mechanism. It's all based on facts, no assumptions. Don't think about your uncopyable golden egg is in your product or is in your mind now because you don't know. Absolutely not. Don't go brainstorming. It's a scoring mechanism. And I wrote that down in my book, how that works. And if you want to know how it works, I can explain you. It's simple again. You need about 3 hours to and find your golden egg. And I found out that I was the founder am the founder of this methodology. Foundership. There's only one.
There's only
Yeah.
one of you.
Yes, there's only one. All the rest are copies, parrots. So
Other parrots that didn't have a carrot.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then I needed to communicate that, and I just looked simply from how does a founder communicate? Founders write a book. So that's for that reason I wrote a book. And that was the only reason. So I funded the foundership. And I started communicating around the foundership, and I was invited at business clubs or congresses to have an inspiration session about the whole methodology because you're the founder. So your golden egg, what makes you uncopyable, is always in the brand and not in the product. The product is the result of the brand. And not the opposite. So forget your product for a while or your services. Look at the brand name, go into the scoring mechanism, and look at what makes you uncopyable. Interesting.
Do you think all brands have something that's uncopyable?
Because you exist, you have one, and you don't know it yet, but sometimes you communicate it. If you find the end result, everybody says I did hundreds, and they all say that's right, that's right, and then you translate that sentence simply into a slogan. Steve Jobs says the people who are stupid enough to think that they can change the world are the people who does that. Think different.
Yeah.
And it is different. Apple is completely different.
Yeah.
And that's why people like the brand. And one of these days, okay, then after many years, you have copycats, and maybe they are a bit stronger. Then look at your brand again. Maybe a new golden egg makes you uncopyable. But look at the word uncopyable and not the words unique and distinctive. Today, I'm the market leader, very unique. But it's to copy. You can copy that in a few years.
Yeah.
Today I'm the cheapest. Tomorrow my competitor is.
Might be. Yeah. It's not defensible.
Yeah. So you need as an umbrella what makes you uncopyable. And then you can translate that into brand messages, the brand values, What is the value of a founder? Passion, I'm proud, and you want to make it work. Those are values derived from a golden egg, in this case, foundership. And then you also can look at, and that's why these are the strengths of my products. That's why my type of coaching must be better than McKinsey.
Yeah.
And I'm not as expensive as McKinsey because they need money. And I don't, because I know exactly what my revenue goal is and what to do.
And also, you sold a few million flower cutters as well.
Exactly. Isn't it great fun?
Yeah.
And the flower cutter was for a few years also not uncopyable. So I had a good conversation with the buyers of the retail. You listen, guys, it's the only one. So you want it or not? This is the price. And that's very, it's amazing, interesting. But okay, and then you can translate it to loyalty messages. The reason that customers stay with you is because of your golden egg, but you don't know it yet. Just look at what it is. So revenue as an objective, look at the money sources and what current percentage they
contribute
in your existing revenue, so you know exactly what percentage of attention the money sources needs. Look at what makes you uncopyable and translate it into brand messages, product messages, and organization loyalty messages. Then you're the strongest. You're not the copy, so all your messages are uncopyable.
Absolutely.
And then you start communicating, and we come to the famous Bitzer model, which I discovered with B&W and Rover.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the golden egg that you're about to drop, really.
Okay. So this is the fourth principle already. And what I discovered was simply the following. I discovered that you need to approach your markets, whether it's one person or it's 100 or multi-billion people. You need always 6 different actions to approach them. The first one is quite simple. Sometimes I use the example. I believe that in our listeners, there are some people who have a relationship, probably, yeah. Or if you're single, bad luck. But if you have a relationship, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
If you have a relationship, I can easily ask the question: do you know what the name of your partner is?
Mm.
And everybody says yes, which means that somebody only becomes a customer
When you
if
know
they
who they
know
are.
what the name of the brand is. If you look at business to business organizations, really most of them have a brand awareness in the potential market less than 5%. That means that 95% or more will never become customer unless even if you communicate about your products, the price, and everything. First, the name. It always starts with the B. The
Mm.
first thing that we did was communicating BMW, Mini, Rover, Land Rover, Range Rover. It's the name. So start communicating tomorrow the name of your brand. That's
Mm.
one. Then the second form of communications, people need to want you, I told you.
Yeah.
Okay? If I know what your name is, my name is Frans, I should tell you that I'm the founder of the Bitsing methodology. And then you say, nice, Frans, I'm not going to buy you. It's not necessary, but I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
The second step is means I want you. I want you because of what makes you uncopyable. And if I want you, you're ready to go to my stores. So you need an offer to make people traffic
Yeah.
to the stores or traffic to an appointment. But I'm quite chanceless in the dating world, honestly. Yeah, that's my pity. I'm married with a methodology. It never talks to me, so it's quite easy and
Yeah.
peace, a lot of peace. But listen, imagine that I see that a person likes me, knows
Yeah.
my name, likes me. Then, if a person likes a post on LinkedIn, that's a sign of I like you, really. And if a person likes you, and Frans asked, "Hey, shall we date? Shall we make an appointment together so we can
Mm.
kiss?" What is the percentage of success?
Pretty high, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, yeah, with you, yeah, but not with me. It is 0. And you know why? I like you, Frans, but make
Not
an
that
appointment
much.
to kiss? Oh, that's too soon, my dear. No, I don't want that. The kiss is the product. I try to get people in my store, even with Black Friday. They're all making mistakes. Come to my store because I have discounts on my around my kiss, around the product. Doesn't work. Doesn't work a little bit, but not 300% growth.
No.
Never. Impossible. So you're making people move, people who like you, make them move to an appointment or to the store, to a web shop, should always be a riskless offer.
Mm.
Dating world again. If I see that a person likes me, I just simply ask, do you like the movies? Yeah, I like that. Do you want to go to the movies one of these days with me? People will say yes. 2 weeks ago, I had a case study with a customer in business to business who had, here it comes, the approach 140 potential customers with a riskless offer, 93% appointments.
Wow. Okay.
93. Yeah, again,
Mm.
an unbelievable, you can call them. It is absolutely because you know why? They approach 140 people, of which they knew they have the I want you,
Interest. Yeah.
And they offer the riskless offer to get the appointment. And what do you do when you have the appointment or a store traffic? Then you start to sell. Sorry. That's the S. Brand awareness is the first step. My name is Frans. I'm the founder of the Bitsy methodology. Nice. Shall we go to the movies one of the days? Because you like the movies, isn't it? Shall we? Yeah. Okay. In the movies. Lights out. Close the doors. Because we are going to sell the kiss, you know. And then you're bought. In your private life, it's exactly the same. Why don't we do it with our business? You introduce yourself to your partner. You did something amazing. He or she fell in love, is I. Then you had the date, T, and then you kissed, you had the S. And what happens after the kiss? I want you to stay with me. The funny thing is, if I ask you, who of you lived together the day after the first kiss? Who did that? Everybody will say, no, of course not. Why not? Because we had a nice kiss and a nice date, but marrying immediately or living together, I don't know you yet. That means that the kiss was not a reason for your partner to stay with you.
No.
Listeners, no, it was not your kiss. It was what happened after the kiss. You probably was nice. You were nice. You had good conversations. You went on holidays, and suddenly you start living together, and you made kids also. Yeah. You know, that is the fifth step. It's the E of extra sales. After the S of sale, communicate what is the extras that you receive from me if you become a customer. And then a person really starts loving you. And the person who loves you, or the customer who loves you, is the one and the only best salesperson. Ask these customers to introduce you to potential customers in their network, and that is R, resell. 6 steps. What I did with BMW and Rover? Brand awareness, only the name. What was the Uncopyable, the golden egg of Rover Group? British. It was the only British car brand. The others were Germans, French, Japanese. And what is British? British is style. So it was the style leader. And the slogan was standard withstanding or something. It is 30 years ago. It's very old-fashioned, I know. But you do the I, yeah, you call the egg, makes your brand wanted. You do a riskless offer to get people into your store, appointment, or web shop. Then you're allowed to sell and talk about the products, not earlier. And if a person has bought, then you explain what the extras are to be expected to make it a very nice, appreciated relationship. And if some customers are really happy with you, ask them to resell you.
Yeah.
And then you have the Bitzer model. And what you can do with this Bitzer model is to create quite simply, and that's the fifth element of the methodology, quite simply, very effective communications. Because what's the B about?
Brand.
What? Brand.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. What's the I about? You call them egg.
Yeah.
Not more. Don't combine the things. Don't say, my name is Frans, I'm perfect, shall we date to the movie so we can kiss and then can make extra sales, make kids, yeah? And you start to resell me to the neighbors. Okay, another day. But don't combine the things because that's disrupting. You know, no. B is about the name, I is about what makes the brand uncopyable, T is about the riskless offer to the store or to the appointment, S is about your products and services, E is about all your extras, R is about the relationship that you have together. So can you introduce me? No more. It's this simple.
But do you then have to segment your communications based on where somebody is within that methodology?
Yeah.
And what do you find is the best way of doing that? Is that through, will that vary depending on the type of the customer and the type
Yeah.
of the audience, or is
Yes.
there a
Sometimes you can
singular
ask
approach?
it. Sometimes you can ask it. Yeah. Do you like the methodology? Yes, it's I. You don't buy the methodology, you buy the coaching around it.
Yeah.
That's the product. Oh, do you like the methodology? Uh, I have a riskless offer which is called an inspiration session of an hour. Yeah, everybody who is interested, really interested in methodology, will get it for free, riskless. Inspiration session, I explain in an hour all the aspects of the methodology.
Mm.
It nights examples, and I say, invite your whole management team. Invite everybody for who it's interesting. People do that.
Mm.
And after the presentation, they say, wow, if we want to implement your pitching methodology, how does this work? It starts with a plan. You need answers. It's a 1 month job. That's it. In one
Yeah.
month time, that's the answers. Oh, what does it cost? And you mention the amount, and you send it in email. It's a sale.
Yeah.
And if people don't do it, doesn't matter. Probably the I wasn't enough yet. Doesn't
Mm.
matter. You don't have to do it now, as long as you do it one of these days.
Yeah, at some point in the future, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, from working with all the different people that you have, the different organisations, is there anything that an individual needs to have in order for the method to work? So, the person that's implementing it, is there a type of mindset that they need, or is it a matter of just changing your mindset once you've heard about the methodology, or do
Yeah.
you, or are
Yeah.
there people that just won't do it?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much they understand it, they just won't change.
It's a pity, but a lot of the marketing people see this as a threat. And mostly the board decides to do this, and then they say to the teams, listen guys, sales, marketing, after sales, product management, etc., you should be part of the team that is needed to give the information, create a plan. But when the plan is finished, the answers are so clear and simple that everybody understands what to do. And suddenly, even marketing people starts to like it, because they reach goals for the first time in their life. They reach goals.
Yeah, but
Really.
do you think you need to have a particular mindset in the first place to adopt it, or to come to you? Is there something that
Entrepreneurs,
yeah,
entrepreneurs, cuts, because I can say that it works, but we still have to do it, right? Cuts, but I have here it is, over 6,000 quotes from people around the world during the years. I'm half autistic. Every quote that I get, I put it in a Word document.
yeah,
And there are over 6,000 now of people even people I never met, in what it did for them,
yeah,
how good it is, etc. And almost you would say, well, it is almost impossible that you wouldn't do it, but it is. It is. That's life, But you need to be an entrepreneur. You need to love basics, so facts. Don't make things too complicated. And it's hard to believe that things that are not complicated work so well, But in this case, it is. And yeah, but honestly, most people really are enthusiastic, are inspired, and love it. They really love it. But the danger is, after a few months, you yourself are so good in the methodology that you think that it's all logical. You forget where we came from.
So do you have to keep going back on yourself and
Yeah.
reappraising constantly in order to keep moving forward?
Yes, and I make an appointment with customers who are within 3 months. Everybody can do it themselves, and some customers stay for years. Come to us every month. You have to keep us on track. Yeah, and it's only a half day. It's simple, but I always approach all the existing customers, and I want to visit them every 1.5 year with new findings. For instance, I have now a few customers who make the Bitzer programs via AI. Fantastic. They're called the next slogan, via AI. and also with CRM systems, like the best one to work with this methodology. The data of the methodology is HubSpot,
Yeah.
not Salesforce, not Salesforce. It's indeed sales. The pitching is not sales. It is wanting, buying, that's sales, and staying. And but you can combine it, and it can measure everything.
Yeah.
And and I called it not CRM, but BRM, Bidding Result Management. But look at who likes your posts. If there's only one single potential customer in it, you cut one. Oh, this one has the eye. Risk is over. Not everybody says yes.
No.
For me, if I want an appointment, it's 73% T. 73. Imagine I approach 100 potential customers who are standing on the eye. 73% will say yes. Oh yeah, come here, visit us and show us that inspiration session. That are numbers that doesn't exist. It is, because it's logical, you know. And if you look at the last two things of the methodology, I can measure, I can predict. It's very difficult to explain it here, but I can predict the number of people you need to approach with the B, the number of people you need to approach with your golden egg, the number of people in the target markets with the riskless offer, sales, product, extra sales, and R, to be 100% sure that you reach your 1,000 pounds. Prediction, approaching numbers. And nobody has these data. Nobody has. Really not. They did, for instance, almost none of the companies, also the big ones, know what the brand awareness is. Yeah, they know what it is, but they did the brand awareness with kids and not with daddies. You know, so
doing it with the wrong audience.
Wrong. It's wrong. But what I do is workshop sessions. It is around 6 workshop sessions, and I get all the information out of the experience and the knowledge of the people of the company. Even if you're alone, it's alone, or if you are corporate, it is 20 people. You know, just an average of knowledge in the organization. I get the answers out, and I have some online tools. And if I put that in a methodology, I have all the answers that are quite close to reality. And then they execute it during 3 months, measure it, and adapt, the some of the figures. And the next 3 months, you're working with 100% real facts. And if the facts are 100% fact, you reach those goals. That's quite amazing. And that was the 6th thing. Also, the prediction in approach, the number of people to approach. I will get it out of the heads of the people, of the employees, because they know it. You work there.
Yeah.
Only nobody asked you that question. You know?
Yeah.
So
no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in terms of, have you ever worked with a brand that has followed? I mean, have you ever had a failure? And if so, how has that then been overcome at a future date?
Yeah.
If at all.
Yeah. A lot of failures, but the failures in not reaching the goal. And lucky, and that's really true. It's not because of the methodology, but because of we did the execution not right. I learn honestly every day. And my learning should be, how can I control better that the staff is, because I'm not there 24 hours. That's impossible. I see the people, if it's an intensive customer, I see them every 2 weeks, a half day. What do they do in between the 2 weeks? Decisions, etc. I can't see. And but nowadays I have a much better let's say a coaching process in which I really can prevent them from too big mistakes. But it doesn't work if you, for instance, that you say, no, I will make my product aware, B. The B is not product, it's brand name.
Yeah.
You know? And then no product. Product is S, you know. T is your location and a riskless offer. So it's not a sales offer, right? And that's just as simple as I explain it here. It's difficult to understand. You need at least 3 months of outroll to make these mistakes and to learn from it. And then suddenly you do it right, and then you reach the same with that customer that had 93% traffic appointments. For months, it was a loss. For months, we did not reach the revenue goals. And October was the first month that they were on target. And suddenly 93% because we tweaked in all the things that went wrong. But it's like school. It's a learning process. I can
Yeah.
say do this, and people just don't do it. Yeah. Okay. Next week I say do this again. No, I don't do it. Yeah. And the third time I hit you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I hit Mike Tyson.
Yeah, you probably would have done better. But
Yeah.
okay,
No, but
so as
yeah.
a kind of takeaway then for people who are either on an entrepreneurial journey or starting one, what would you say, other than following your methodology? Is there anything that you can draw on from your experience and say the kind of mindset that you need, or the kind of person that you feel that
Yeah.
you need to become in order for this to be achievable?
Yeah, it is the thing with the methodology. It's a mixture of everything. It's about money, revenue. It's about strategical focus, strategy thinking. 89% should be focused on daddies, so the stores should be 89% daddies. And that's just data driven. And then communications, call and egg communications. Bitzer communications, and then I need to control numbers. I need to approach a number of people. So you should be a multi-talent, but not, because probably you have the people in-house. Marketing people should do B&I, salespeople traffic and sales, and after salespeople E&R of the methodology. But you can do BITSER execution perfect if it's on the wrong target markets or the wrong countries or the wrong continents. Again, look at the money sources, the wrong money sources, then it doesn't work. So I would say at least put your revenue goal on the wall, and look at every 3 quarters, what is the revenue goal? And at least also start at looking at the money sources and the shares, because those are already eye-opening. If you start with that, you're halfway.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. But a kind of person, no, just a nice person, no politics, no politics. It doesn't work with politics. Although I did one Brussels politician one of these days, and he won the elections, by the way, really. He's a big fan. He's a big fan. But I don't want to be involved with politics with the methodology, but I did that.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I did it. And he won the elections in Brussels. Yeah, really.
So which brand do you feel you were most surprised that wanted to work with you, and which one do you think had the biggest like a bigger than you expected outcome?
Well, yeah, there is I'm very proud, for sure, that I was invited by Nike head office, right?
Yeah.
Because I can't manage a company like that, believe it,
Yeah.
and I love the methodology. Yeah, that makes me proud, because that is a brand where you don't get the tea. No appointment, believe me. It was with the board, that's impossible, but it happened. But the surprise was, of course, what I discovered with BMW and all the Rover brands. That was great fun. But maybe the one which is really interesting, I have a customer who is preventing child abuse in the world. And when we used the methodology, suddenly they got more funds in the house, and they could create products in which a virtual kid, makes an appointment with a dirty old guy. And so they found people in the world who were responsible for child abuse, and they used this methodology. And that is something that's not commercial,
Yeah, didn't anticipate that.
yeah, that is a commercial methodology used to for
For
less.
positive,
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
charitable
yeah.
outcome. Yeah.
But on the other hand, I'm proud of every customer and everybody who does this, even with or without me. I'm proud because it's my thing, my invention. I've developed it, and people are using it. So I'm always proud of everybody who does this, and I want them to reach the goals, even with some disappointments.
No,
Yeah,
I'm the same. For me, the biggest
yeah,
thing, that enjoyment I get is when somebody I don't know has bought one of our products or and has said something nice. I feel
yeah,
it validate the hard work
yeah,
and the
yeah,
love that we've poured into that product.
yeah.
And it gives you a warm feeling. Obviously, we always want more of those, but
Maybe
that's the motivator, I think.
yeah, I have another nice example of which is which is fun. But yeah, I wrote this book, and this book was nominated for Management Book of the Year, really.
Mm.
And 20 books were selected, and there was a long list. And there should be a short list of 5 books in a gala award-winning session.
Mm.
And my book was not at the 5 books, and but that was already announced 2 months before the real gala with
Mm.
the election of the number one. And I thought, oh man, all those books were nominated are those, how do you say that, the politically correct books, is that it? And
Yeah.
I thought, and I am not that, I'm a, come on, maybe a bit rebel, but come on. So I thought, which book is Management Book of the Year if it's on the day of the election award, the ceremonies, is the number one bestseller. So I called my editor, how many books do I need to sell before to become a number one in 2 months?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he gave me that number, and I could calculate, of course, the many numbers of traffic you need to the stores, the number of eyes, people who like it, the
Yeah.
number of bees that know the name, and I had my own prediction, and I started communicating. I did it all online, and again, long story short, uh, the day, no, wait a minute, on the Friday before the next week's Thursday was the election. The Friday
Yeah.
before, it was number 2. And the Saturday and the Sunday, it was still number 2. And the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it was number 2. And I thought, this will not be number 1. And it could be that the number that the editor gave me for the
Was
sale
wrong.
was wrong, because the current number 1 has sold too many
More.
books. That was
Yeah.
right. So I called him. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Wednesday. Tomorrow is the election. And then, how many books am I ahead of the number 1? He said, well, quite a few. Oh, damn it, I thought thousands. And he said 63. Really? And so I bought 200 books myself. And I called customers, please buy some books as well, because before you know it, they think, oh, he influenced the whole. And
Yeah.
the day of the election, he was number 1. It was
So you fake it till you make it, right?
I did. Yeah. So, but I used the methodology, So that was really great fun. So since then, I can say number 1 bestseller.
Best-selling book,
He's a
as
founder.
purchased by myself.
Nobody knows that. Only you. Oh my God. Now you all know.
Brilliant. Look, Frans, it's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Yeah, great.
And
Thank you for
yeah,
the invitation.
I think that people really enjoy listening to what you've said, and hopefully a lot of people will adopt it and go on their mission to find their golden egg and make it happen.
Yeah. And mail me if you have questions. It's Frans, Frans, that's my name, at bitsing, bitsing.nl or .com. They both work. Frans at bitsing.nl or call. It was